We are fast approaching the release for Starfield, and in today's video, we are going to be going through 48 things that you should already know. Starfield is an upcoming sci-fi RPG from Bethesda, the developers for Elder Scrolls and also the Fallout series. And the reason that I need to highlight that they're responsible for Elder Scrolls and also Fallout is because Starfield is Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years. They spent most of their time really working on the Elder Scroll and also the Fallout franchise. Starfield will be releasing on Game Pass, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. The release date at the time recording this video is the 6th of September 2023, but you are able to get this earlier. If you buy into the Premium or Constellation edition, this will release 5 days earlier on the 1st of September. And with this game, due to its size, which we will be talking about in just 1 second, it is going to take 130 gigabytes of space. With of course, there most likely being updates within the future, which will then further add to this. Let's talk a bit more about the game itself now. One of the biggest selling points is that there are over 100 different solar systems, and with each of those, it's going to be contributing to over 1,000 different planets. Each of those planets will have its own plants, wildlife, resources, and even unique locations. And I want to put emphasis on one point here: wildlife. They're not alien monsters. The wildlife has been designed in a way in which it feels like it belongs as part of that planet. It's something that we can relate to as we see animals here on Earth, but now they're going to look slightly different given a sort of alien feel, but it's still going to act and respond exactly like wildlife, like animals habitable to that planet. With that said, it does appear Pokemon exist within Starfield. Well, kinda. There are some creatures within the game which will have abilities. We've seen in some of the gameplay reveals that the hunting Cellgator will have an ability which is the range mouth attack, just like this swarming dragon has the burning damage ability. So just because Bethesda have taken inspiration from the wildlife here on planet Earth doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to act exactly the same. The core gameplay loop for Starfield is about scanning planets and selling data for space credits, which will then allow you to get access to even better gear, which will allow you to do this job more efficiently. With every single planet, they are procedurally generated, with there being a few handcrafted details. For example, cities as well as outposts will be handcrafted, as well as there being any type of dynamic events, but other than that, the planets themselves are entirely procedurally generated. Character creation is not the first thing that you'll do within game. When you first start, you'll actually be part of gameplay. You'll immediately go through the introduction. That is where you'll touch these artifacts which will knock you unconscious. It's at that point when 2 other characters will bring you back, and it's then when you'll go through your character creation. The character creation system is as simple or as in-depth as you want it to be. You'll start off with a preset, and with this you can just take that preset and immediately jump into game. Or you can start customizing the body, face, background, and traits. What's interesting is every face within Starfield is backed by the exact same system. Not just the characters that you can create, but also every other character within game, every other NPC. Meaning, if there is someone that you really like the look of and you wish your character looked like that, you can recreate them entirely, down to the finest detail. And even when you lock in your looks, you can change them at a later date. It says when you first start customizing your character that if you want to change this, you'll need to go and head to a genetics facility. With backgrounds, it adds another layer to your character. It's not just about customizing the looks, but also providing unique skills and abilities from the get-go. For example, you can have the background of a chef, which means you'll be able to craft special food and drinks and research additional recipes. This will give you 10% more melee damage, and you'll gain an extra 30 health points. On the other hand, you can take the background of diplomat, which will increase chances of success on speech challenges. You'll be able to force target NPCs below your level to stop fighting for a time, and you'll be able to buy for 5% less or sell for 10% more at vendors. These backgrounds will really change the content that will be available to you. Traits also do a similar thing, except it's not always a positive. You'll have a positive effect from using a trait, but there'll also be a negative one alongside it. For example, we can take a look at alien DNA, which will have a higher health pool and greater endurance from the get-go, but it also means healing items are less effective. With the dream home traits, this means when you very first start this game, you'll actually start with a house on a peaceful little moon. But with this, a mortgage comes with that little house, so that you'll have to spend 50,000 credits every single week. You can have up to 3 trades, but it's also worth highlighting that they are optional. If you don't want to deal with any of the negative side effects from any of these, then you can just start this game without any trades. It just means that you won't have the positives to go alongside them. It's also worth highlighting that you can also remove the negative side effects within game whilst still claiming the benefits, but we're not exactly sure how this is going to work. It has been teased that you will be able to select traits, and through gameplay you will be able to remove the negative side effects. And it's likely that there's going to be some type of gameplay mechanic which is unlikely to be easy. But this just fits into a risk-reward system. A risk-reward system in you actually accepting these traits in the beginning, plus also going through whatever activities are needed. Whilst going through your journey, your character will become sick, and this will affect you in-game. There are occasions where we're able to see the character have a cough, and it's believed that this is just an early stage. If that cough goes untreated, it could potentially be something much worse. Starfield is an RPG game, which means that there will be skills and skill points. You will first need to have a skill point to unlock the skill, but once you have that skill, for you to actually rank that up and improve upon it, you will need to keep on using that skill. For example, there's an intimidation skill, and that requires you to successfully intimidate 5 different people. Once that's done, this skill will then be ranked up, and each skill can be ranked to a maximum of rank 4. All of these skills are broken down into 5 different skill trees: physical, social, combat, science, and tech. The main quest line will require you to join the Constellation, which are described as the last true explorers in the galaxy. The story itself has been confirmed that it will be 30 to 40 hours in length, but it's unlikely that you'll be completing it within that time. The 30 to 40 hour main storyline is only the main storyline. That is if you went main mission to main mission. But it said that you're likely to spend over 100 hours on side quests, and potentially even more if you're looking to explore every single planet. There's a lot of dialogue within Starfield. It's already been said that Starfield has 4 times as much as what Skyrim had, and Skyrim was known to have dialogue options. This is very impressive, unless you don't like dialogue, in which this could be very boring. Ship customization is also part of Starfield. You have complete freedom to build whatever it is that you want to build, except it's going to be fairly expensive. What's been described so far is that ships will mainly be end game. You will not be able to start this game and immediately start building the ships that you want to build, because a lot of them, even in the trailer reveals, they're costing about 700,000 credits. And that's not even to say that they're going to be the most expensive. It's believed to be a lot higher. With that said though, ships can be massive. We're able to see clips of what has already been revealed, and it's hard to say exactly how big they can be until you go and see this image. You see the person bottom left, and you see the ship size. Even the small ones are fairly large. You don't always need to customize your ship from nothing. You are still able to go to a ship technician, and you are able to buy presets. It's likely that you'll have to do this from the moment that you first start this game, all the way up to mid towards even end game. You will be able to board enemy ships in dynamic events. There are also some ships which are supposedly to be friendly, and you're able to board them. One of which is Grandma, which is a dynamic event where you'll be invited to board her ship. If you want to, you can steal ships, but if you are looking to go and find the most expensive ships, steal them and sell them on, you will first need to go and add them to your fleet, which will be expensive, and then this must be done before you actually sell that ship on. So it's not the case of, if you're really trying to build what you want to build, that you could just go off and steal everything and then use that to fund your project, because you'll still need to have money in order to make money. The spaceships that you do create as well as buy, you can fully customize the name. Let it be anything that you want it to be. The most important thing with the ships though is the ship stats. With every single component that you add or take away, it will either increase or decrease certain elements. You may create something which looks amazing, but it might not actually function well. And that's something that you'll need to balance, especially when you're going into combat, because as you go out into the big wide universe, there are going to be a lot of enemies out there. They're going to want to take you down just as much as you want to take them down. They have resources, you have resources, and that's going to lead to a lot of credits, with it also leading to a lot of conflict. One way in which you can adapt as you go along your journey will be your ship's power supply. If you're wanting to just travel from point A to point B, you can put all your power into your engine, and that will give it more power in order for it to push you a lot further, getting there a lot quicker. But the second that you do get into combat, you can actually change your power supply to put more power into your weapons, which will make your weapons more powerful. But it also means that you're going to be slightly slower, as not as much will be in your engine. This can change depending on your situation, and it adds a bit more of a strategic level to this game. Looking away from your ship, let's actually talk about your character weapons. Along your journey, you will be able to find loads of different weapons, being able to pick them up, find different ammo supplies, and then be able to take on your enemies. With the weapons, there's also a customization option. You'll be able to change the receiver, internal, optics, magazines and batteries, and also the muzzle. This yet again improving aspects as well as reducing the effectiveness of certain other parts of the weapon, but allowing you to customize it the way that you want to customize it. There are 3 main weapon types within game. You have ballistic, which is your typical gunpowder guns, energy weapons which require a battery, and then mag weapons which are high-powered electromagnetic shells. Depending on the weapon you select will depend on what category it fits in, and depending on the category will depend on how you will have to adapt your playstyle. When you've traveled to a planet and you realize that there's loads of resources for you to gather, you're able to create an outpost. And you can create outposts on nearly every planet. Not every planet, but nearly. Apparently it is a fairly high number, much more than what most players are expecting. And once an outpost is created, you're able to keep crewmates at that outpost so that that outpost will function without you. Meaning that you can leave, do what you need to do, come back at a later date to collect your resources. New Atlantis is the largest city within game, and it's likely that the majority of the content will be here. You'll actually have to travel to New Atlantis fairly early on because this is where the Constellation headquarters is held. Alongside your journey, you're also able to bring on a companion. The companion you select will have their very own skills and abilities, some more than others. Depending on the companion that you select, there may also be some romantic options available, which will then unlock even more content if you wish to go through it. And it's worth mentioning that there is a difference between a companion and a crew member. A crew member we did briefly talk about earlier, that you can have crew members who will help you and give you a helping hand with your ship, plus also with various outposts, but they are not companions. You can then have a companion which will then join you on these journeys. Still give you a helping hand, but then there's an extra layer of there being something a bit more intimate. Bethesda have said that they will continue to expand Starfield as time goes on, with there being more and more DLCs revealed, more updates, story expansions, and they've also said that they're going to fully support the modding community, allowing the modding community to create their very own content, which we will also be able to see within game. And finally, Starfield's very first DLC has already been revealed. It is titled Shattered Space. And we have already done a video here on this channel breaking down exactly what this could be. So if you're interested in that video, it is now available on screen right now. And if you click that, we'll be over there to guide you through absolutely everything.